What's going on, everybody? My name is Sebastian White. I am from Chicago. So excited to be here at the Indigenous Food Lab. I love everything they are and everything that they represent, and I'm really excited to bring this dish that I've put together specifically for this purpose. So today we're gonna make a duck breast taco with a maple pecan chili crisp, a plum aioli, and with some beautiful garnishes to add some freshness to the dish. Really excited to show you this. All right, so we're gonna get started. We have some beautiful blue corn masa here. It's already been dressed a little bit with some water, and so its texture is really good right now. But what I wanna do is doctor it up a little bit. So the first thing I'm gonna add is some lime zest. I like the zest of limes in my masa. You could also use orange zest. I think that would be equally interesting, but we just want some of that flavor into our masa. I also have some beautiful ground morita chili. Morita, I call it like the twin brother of a chipotle. It's got like a deeper smoke that I love, but this is my favorite chili. I love it. I love its depth. I use it in so many different ways to infuse into things and just to add not just the smokiness, but the spice and how that blends and creates that really beautiful flavor for folks. So this has already been salted. I'm gonna add just a touch more. And then we're gonna start to incorporate and just mix. After I've done mixing, I'm gonna start forming these into little balls to get ready to press. So we want our balls, I don't know, I would say maybe an inch in diameter. So we want it about this size. You wanna roll it, try to get rid of some of those cracks. Just really make sure it's really compact and together without overworking. All right, so that's what we're looking at. I'm just gonna put that aside and do about 3 or 4 more. As I said earlier, I'm from Chicago, Illinois. My background is actually not in food. I am a trained psychotherapist, and I was working with kids who were in gangs and at risk for joining. In the spring of 2020, my father and my aunt passed away, and I decided I wanted to do something that honored who they were to me and to so many other people. And so I created a concept that I think fuses our passions. I founded a nonprofit called the Evolve Network, essentially thinking about how we can decolonize our perspective on therapy. We're trying to get out of the medical model fixing concept and more into the healing through understanding, through community and being together. And there's no better way than through food, through connection with the land and seeing that process. And so that's been pretty special. It's been a pretty incredible journey. It's been such an amazing learning experience. I'm always trying to grow. I tell people all the time I'm seeking perfection, knowing that I'll never get it. But I think in that way, you're always gonna grow. Here's our size of our tortilla balls. So we got some plastic wrap to help our tortilla from sticking into our press. So I'm gonna press down. And there we are with one of our first tortillas. You can see it here. So I'm gonna preheat our comal right here. Might add a little sunflower seed oil to the pan so it doesn't stick, and rub it down a little bit with the towel. So we're gonna take our first tortilla and place it down. Another thing about tortillas that we wanna be thoughtful about is how thick they are. I often do mine a little bit too thick because you wanna make sure it folds right. So just really being thoughtful about that when you're making them. This one's almost ready to go. I think it's so beautiful when you're forced to look at what you have and see the beauty in it. And I think that's what's so amazing about Native and Indigenous culture, about how their approach is using what's around them. If you're cooking with what's local, with what's around you, it connects you with the land, it connects you with stories, it connects you with history. And that type of thoughtfulness is necessary, I think, and is often missed. I didn't mention, it's really important that you cover your tortillas after they cooked. Right, if you don't do that, they won't soften the way you need to. So if you guys hear any noises in the background, that's because we're in a live market. That's why I think this makes this experience really special. What they're offering within the market itself and the opportunity of being here. So that's what you're hearing in the background. So don't worry, everything's good in here. You guys should definitely try to make your own tortillas at home. It really is special and really does add to your experience. I love like the little char, and this color is so beautiful, it pops. All right, you guys, so we're gonna start by making a maple pecan chili crunch or crisp oil. Let me do that again. I'm I'm gonna start by showing you a couple of chilies. This is an ancho chili. It has been seeded and toasted. And this is a morita chili, which has been hasn't been seeded, but I like to keep the seeds to add some texture to our oil and also add that heat and spice that comes from the chili. So if you didn't know, a ancho chili comes from poblano pepper that's been dried and smoked out. A morita chili is what I call like the really cool brother, or twin brother of a chipotle. It technically is a chipotle, but it's got like a deeper smoke that I love and adds depth. I often use morita chili to describe who I am because I feel like it represents my personality in a lot of different ways. So all I'm gonna do is cut this up into some really small, fine pieces. Some people can use a food processor. You have to make sure they're really toasted well. Otherwise, it's gonna be really hard to break it up in the food processor, but I like doing it by hand, personally. Allows me to be in control. So this does not need to be perfect. You definitely don't want any really large pieces. You don't want them to overcome the bite. The beauty of the oil is how everything comes together. So I'm gonna put those aside with all the chilies are already chopped up. Next, I got some cloves of garlic. I'm gonna use about 6 of these guys. I love garlic, guys. Frying garlic is so delicious, texturally, and what it adds to everything. Even how it fuses the oil, and you'll see how I do that in a second. I'm also currently preheating some sunflower seed oil because I'm gonna fry my leeks in there as well. So you can see here, I've got some leeks. In case you don't know what a leek is, I pulled this off. Make sure you wash your leeks really thoroughly. They're coming out of the ground, you guys, so they're in the soil, so you want to get rid of all that grit and that dirt. But then just do a nice, like, rough, beautiful chopping these into strips. And then when they'll fry up, they'll actually start to compress a little bit as you get out some of that water, but they'll be nice. I also have some pecans here, you guys. I roughly chopped them with my knife because I didn't want them too small. So if you guys don't have a fryer at home, you can always use like a food thermometer and test the oil. I want it to get to about 325 degrees before I start to fry. We're close now. You also should have a paper towel line, either bowl or sheet pan next to you to transition your leeks right out of the oil to, because we want to salt immediately so the salt adheres and make sure that our stuff is seasoned properly. So let's drop in a couple of leeks and see how we do. And they're coming right up already, so let's get to go with these. So that it is going to do this, you guys, because all that water is coming up. Just stir, and as you stir, it'll make sure that it doesn't pop out. And it'll start to settle as that water starts to evaporate out. You're looking for those bubbles to start disappearing, because as the bubbles disappear, that means they're draining out water, which will keep them nice and crispy and crunchy, and that's what you're looking for from our leeks. Okay, so these are getting pretty close. You see that those bubbles are starting to dissipate? I'll make sure I get all that water out. These will be nice and crispy for us. All right, so I'll come directly here. So after they're out, you want to make sure that we salt as soon as possible so that salt adheres to that hot oil as they start to crisp up. Next, going to add on some more. Be ready for it to come up a little bit. You stir. So yes, they're definitely going to be like that crispy oniony flavor. If you've never had a leek, it's for sure in the onion family. It's got this really cool texture. And I was also thinking about like what was native to the land, and leeks were. And so that's why I chose to use these instead of like a shallot, which I think is more used in like traditional chili oils that are made. If it takes a little longer, what you want to watch is the color. Particularly the white part of the leeks. If it starts to get too brown, almost like a burnt color, you probably want to pull it. A burnt leek is for sure going to it's going to lean more bitter than get that beautiful sweetness. So that's why you want to be thoughtful about the color. I want to make sure I get as much of it out as possible before I transition in our garlic. So So I got that. Now I'm gonna salt it real quick. All right, and those are done. I'll push those over to the side a little bit. That's exactly what we want on our leeks. All right, so I'm just gonna clean up just a little bit, you guys, before I drop in our garlic. So that oil should be ready to go. Garlic will fry up a little bit faster. And again, we're looking for we're not looking for burnt, we're looking for that start golden brown on our garlic. My mom always taught me clean up as you go. So there's not a mess afterwards, but it also keeps you organized with what you're doing. So sorry guys that you're watching me clean, but that's important to my process. It keeps me organized. Okay, so our garlic is looking good. Let's pull it out. I've left that oil on, so I want it to remain hot for me, but I'm gonna turn it off right before I figure out how much I wanna pour into our bowl here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out our chilies. Remember our anchos and our morritas, and drop them down here. Okay, so I'm gonna turn that oil off. I'm gonna count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm gonna ladle out that hot oil directly on our chilies. So this will also fry those chilies up, and that oil will also start to take on their beautiful flavor. What you have to be cautious with this is not to add too much oil. That's why I'm ladling and not just pouring directly out. Because if it's too oily in relation to everything else, it'll take over. It'll be too oily in terms of your bite when you add in your chili oil down onto your taco. So that's about enough for me on that. And so I'm gonna let that continue to fry up. You can see how that oil is still actually cooking the chilies now as they're bubbling right now. So I'm gonna let that sit a little bit, and then I'm gonna start adding in some of our maple sugar. The first time I've used maple sugar was to create this through this type of challenge. And I'm gonna be using maple sugar all over the place now. It's delicious, it's so interesting of an ingredient. So if you have not used maple sugar, please do, it's beautiful. So I'm gonna drop down some of that maple sugar down. So I'm gonna stir that in there a little bit, you guys. Sunflower seed oil is like really thin, so it becomes almost like watery. I think to really bring out more of that maple and to add some of that body down, if you add some of your pure maple syrup, it really does help build that out. So I'm gonna stir some more. And then I'm gonna salt. I want a good bit of salt, you guys. Make sure that thing's got flavor. And a little bit of cracked black pepper. And now I'm gonna go down with our leeks, our fried leeks and garlic. So I'm just gonna take this and add that down. I'm gonna mix again. If I had added too much oil, it would overcome it. It would make it almost too like soupy. And now I'm gonna add in our pecans. I think it needs a little bit more sweetness, you guys. So, and probably some more salt. So I'll do some more maple sugar. Good amount of salt. Okay. Now I think that's ready to go. This chili oil could be good on so many different things, honestly. Put this on a rice cake. You can put this on eggs, steak. Like, there are a number of variety of ways you can take this. It's a wonderful condiment just to have around your house. All right, next up in terms of building up this taco, we're gonna make a plum aioli. So this is not a traditional aioli. We're gonna use duck eggs. I'm gonna take the yolks of 2 of our duck eggs. So I'm just gonna pass that yolk to the other side as that white passes through. The yolk in duck eggs are a little bit richer And they're obviously a lot larger, as you can see. And then we're gonna do just the whole egg of one of our duck eggs. And let's try to make sure we don't get any shell in there either. We don't want that. All right, now I'm gonna add some oil. This is also sunflower seed oil. About that much. So again, I have 2 duck egg yolks and 1 full duck egg in here. I've added some sunflower seed oil. Now I'm gonna add some zest of an orange. I tell people all the time, you're just trying to create flavor and build it in every piece and see how those things meld and come together. So I love orange with plums. I love orange with duck. It all fits. And it adds a little bit of that acid. So now I'm gonna do just a quick squirt of orange juice. Again, thinking about flavor. And then I'm gonna add a garlic clove. I need to blend this, you guys, so I need to go over here to blend it over here with my immersion blender, so I'll be right back. So I blended our duck eggs and our oil with our zest and garlic and a little bit of our orange juice. I don't know, 15 seconds. It's more about looking for the consistency as it starts to come up and that oil starts to emulsify with the egg yolks. So this is kind of what you're looking for. Really beautiful, thickened up, nice, really great color. So let's add the other pieces to our aioli that are gonna bring out that plum. I like using scallions again, deepening, embedding flavor that blends well with your concept. So I'm just gonna cut it down. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of heat from a serrano chili. A serrano chili is spicier than a jalapeno, so you have to be careful with that. I'm not gonna use much of it and not gonna get too much into the seeds. So just like that top piece, drop that down. And then I have our plum. So with the use of plums, you can use any variety of them, honestly. I think the key is getting it when it's got that ripeness that you want, right? If it's not ripe enough, it's gonna be more tart, then leads into that sweetness that we're trying to create. We're only gonna use about, I don't know, a third of it. Cut that down, drop that in. So plums are also in season right now, so that's why I love using plums in this recipe, but there are a variety of other types of fruits that you could use. So I just made like a peach chimichurri. A peach aioli is really interesting. So, I mean, there's all forms and ways that you can do in using stuff that's in season. So I'm gonna go back over and give this a blend and I'll be right back with you guys. Color didn't change much. The texture does a little bit. It'll thin out because of the water content from the onions, the serranos, and particularly the plums. There's a lot of water. I am a proponent of really creating your own aiolis and not using mayonnaise. I think you can taste it, or mayo. So if you guys can see the consistency of aioli here, some of that flesh from the plum is gonna show itself a little bit, but it's blended, it's been incorporated well. That's the consistency that we're looking for from aioli. Next, we're gonna crisp up some delicious duck, and then we'll be ready to start putting together our tacos so you guys get to see the full picture. So I am fortunate, our duck breast was scored already for me. I've let it sit out so it starts to come closer up to room temperature as we cook it. But if you guys can see, it's been scored. And the purpose of scoring is helping the duck release some of that fat. I'm also putting them on some towels to try to get some of that moisture out from their defrosting process. I love duck, you guys. The fat, the crisp skin, the texture, it's like that duck fat's like liquid gold is what I'll call it. It's so delicious and adds to the experience of the dish. And then you get that like that crispness of the skin if it renders properly, and it's really just really delicious. Now I'm gonna do some black pepper. That you'll get some of that texture and the flavor from the black pepper. I'm just gonna turn these. Just gonna do the other side real quick. I'm gonna just do simply salt and pepper on this. So we're gonna salt. And I'm gonna salt that skin side. You guys notice I'm using a good bit of salt. It's important that you salt appropriately. A lot of people often undersalt, and it does change the experience. I know we're concerned about health and everything, but you want that salt to bring out the flavor. I like to add our duck into a cold pan. So I'm gonna give you guys an example. I'm just gonna turn this on to low, and I will, as it cooks, bring it up to temperature. So I'm gonna do one. I could probably do two in here. It's gonna be a lot of fat that comes out, you guys. So I'm gonna let that sit and slowly cook. And always save your duck fat, you guys. Don't throw that away. Like I said, liquid gold. Put it on some potatoes. Put it on something. It'll add to your experience. So as this duck is cooking down, you guys, I thought I might as well just tell you more about my work. Like I said, using farm-to-table concepts and bringing them to schools on the south and west sides of Chicago. If you haven't been to Chicago, the south and west sides have been disinvested in. And so I am trying to bring an experience around food that opens how they think about the world. They're getting diverse produce and produce that's in season. And we get to cook that together and explore food in a different way. And I think when you do that, you open up the world to them. You open up choice. If I enjoyed something I didn't expect to enjoy, that changes how I must think about the world and the opportunities and the chances that I might take later on. And I feel like that type of liberation brings out the uniqueness in all of our students and the kids that we work with. Last year I saw 600 plus students. This year we're on pace for over 800 students. It's just been a really special journey continuing to grow. Anyway, so I flipped these over. I'm not gonna let them sit flesh side down for very long. I just wanna give that a nice quick little sear and make sure it's not sticking. And then I'm gonna flip it over and then finish in our oven. So I've got a preheated oven at 325 degrees. We'll go in for about 5 to 7 minutes. So I'm gonna turn these back over, flesh side down. You guys see all that fat? That's beautiful. All that fat from that skin. It needed to slowly render and take its time. And it's gonna finish at a consistent temperature in the oven so it doesn't overcook. Cool, so we got our duck. I like how it's given back to me. So I think we're in a good spot. I think we got that beautiful skin. So one thing that's really important with cooking a duck is making sure that you let your duck rest, right? You want those, if you cut it immediately, all of that beautiful juice will come spilling out, and we want that. We want it to redistribute so it has an amazing texture. I usually let the duck rest about 3 to 5 minutes. So you see our tortilla, we got that bend without breaking. It's really pliable. Just gonna center that on the plate. So I let our duck rest. Skin's in good shape. I'm just gonna cut on a bias, and you can see that cook on there. You see, so they're still pink and juicy inside. So we're looking for. Okay. So I'm gonna cut this down again because I don't think anybody wants a big bite of duck. So now I want to go down with our maple pecan chili crunch. So you guys see that oil is going to seep out a little bit, and that's okay. That's just a part of the experience. Our tacos don't have to be messy, but some are, and I think that's okay. So now we're going to come with our aioli. And then we're going to add some greens. So we have some cabbage, some broccoli, some kohlrabi, some arugula in our greens. We'll dress our taco like that. All right, you guys, I'm gonna bring somebody in to try this out a little bit. So we'll be right back with you. All right, everybody, I'm fortunate to have Paula here with me. She works actually, what store?
I work in the Taco Toro.
At the Taco Toro.
Yep.
So she's making tacos in the building. So I'm up against it right here. But I hope that she enjoys it. Blue corn masa, duck breast. I made a maple and pecan chili oil, and then a plum aioli.
Oh, okay.
That I put on top with some beautiful greens.
Okay.
So dig in and let me know what you think. I'm scared.
Okay. Let's try. It's really good.
Thank you.
Be honest, it's really good. It's my first time try to duck, and it's really, really good. The flavors, the peppers, you put this is really amazing.
So, we're using the morita and the anchos in the chili crunch with the maple, so you get that kind of sweet heat experience and the creaminess and like sweetness from the plums and the aioli.
Okay.
Yes.
The salsa is really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I really enjoy it.
Paula, thank you so much for trying this with me. I very much appreciate it. I can't say thank you enough to the Indigenous Food Lab. This is such a pleasure to be within your space. Thank you for all that you do. You're an inspiration to me and my work, and I hope we can continue to figure out how to work together. I hope that you guys enjoyed this recipe. I hope that you try it at home. I hope that it inspires you to try something else creative and also to think about what's around you and how you can use it. That's the heart of this type of an experience, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you so very much. Give this video a like, and I will see you guys later.
Thank you.
Thank you.